everybody. I'm Lumumba.
And I'm Glenda.
And welcome to the Roberts Family 365. Hey. So we've got special guests, Louis and Michelle Cologne.
Yes, the Croqueta.
Killing it. And we've got somebody named Mike, a guy, joining our show. So let's get right to it.
Yes.
So, Mike, turns out that Glenda and Lumumba are recording live from Boom Boom's room.
Yeah! Boom!
That's gonna be Boom Boom's future room right there. I love the color.
Wait.
I've seen.
Is that Boom Boom, the Boom Boom room, or is it Boom Boom's room?
I mean,
hey, we're not gonna tell you. We're gonna tell you if he's conceived in here. We just know he's gonna be housed in here.
But we're gonna see this interview and be like, "Mom,
But
Dad."
according to Glenda, I think he was conceived somewhere in Dordogne, France. You guys are practicing as you speak.
I don't know if the shows are anything, they've been happy the whole race, so it could have been at any of these locations.
Yes. Mike, I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited to have Glenn and Lumumba on. They are such a positive couple. They're lovely. In front of what you guys see is what you get behind the camera with these two. They're just so awesome, so loving, just their vibes. So excited to talk about the race with them. Obviously, the ending is not what a lot of people wanted. Guys, you had a lot of people rooting for you. Yes. A lot. And you are one of America's favorite teams for a reason. Aww. But, the ending was tough. So, let's get into it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're happy about being, able to collab with you guys.
Yes.
To be able to share not just our story, but your story.
Yes.
Because you guys are not only like one of the toughest and the most
and most fun.
The funnest team.
Definitely the fun team.
Most competitive. But you guys are also the hottest team.
I know.
Everybody's like, oh my God, who's that?
Hey, make me blush.
Have you guys seen any of those comments on social media where they're like, oh my God, Lewis's arms?
Yeah. I'm telling you, women are fanning Michelle. I know you're having to beat them off.
I'm okay with it. Actually, it's the guys that are loving Lewis's arms the most.
I have that effect on me. I don't know what to say.
Croqueta Chat is just going to be a little bit of recap. What do you do to get that strength training in, Lewis?
A lot of flying down fire poles.
That's right. Let's get into the episode. Episode 7. Actually, before we get into it, let's do a quick episode 1 through 6 recap. Glenda, Lumumba, talk to me about how you felt your arc was going this season. First of all, your edit arc was amazing. You guys got a lot of airtime. You guys were, super positive. Everybody loves you so much.
Aww.
And then, I mean, I think edit wise and airtime wise, it was still great. But I think your performance, might have been struggling a little bit. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yes, I think we started out. I mean, first of all, it is so the anxiety is so high when you're first there in Germany. Then we find out that there are things that aren't that hadn't happened before, like a scramble. We're like, what is a scramble? What's that? And then no non-elimination round. So the stress for me was super high, and no one wants to go home, but especially the first leg. So I think for me, I was like, we just cannot go home the first leg. Yeah. No way do we expect to do second in the first leg. And so we were doing really well. Second leg, second. And then you do the thing you're not supposed to do, which is not read the clue.
Yeah.
You have to read the clue. So that just kind of, that plus the directions, plus not doing well on the challenges. It just was like everything that could go wrong in the mega leg for us went wrong, but we still, we just, pushed through and, kept pushing, stayed in it. But it's just kind of hard when you're in the back to kind of catch up. Yeah. So for us, it was harder to keep pushing.
Yeah, there was a lot of good racing in between though. We did pretty good. I don't want to, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen episode 7 of The Amazing Race, but we were eliminated. Sorry.
Yeah.
And we really did give it our best.
Yeah.
You never know which challenge or which detour or roadblock is going to be the one thing, or even the directions is going to be the one thing that you have a brain fart on.
Yeah.
And we had that toward the end, like multiple times. And so even though we actually, did pretty strong to begin with, it just piles up. So
and then we did okay on the dance challenge, but then that second dance challenge, oh my God, against the dancers, Lord have mercy.
You know what?
That was my
guys. No, I give it to you guys because I know that the first, as a dancer, because Luis isn't a dancer, but the first challenge was a lot easier than the second one. Because even us, like adding a prop, learning different things, I'm sure you had such confidence after going from the first one to this one.
Yeah.
I was a little afraid for Luis at the moment. When we started learning and it kept going and going, he kept asking like, wait, there's still more? You're going to keep teaching me? And she's like, yeah, there's still more. And I was like, the moment he asked that, I was like, oh my God.
I was sweating, guys.
It's a bad idea.
I was sweating because it's also a lot of pressure when you have a great dancer on your team, because it's all on me. Pressure's all on me. Yeah. So I was sweating, and that dance is really hard. And first, I didn't understand why you guys would go to that dance challenge, but that makes sense because the first one was pretty simple. So you guys are probably thinking, oh, the second one's probably going to be easy too, like simple as well. But that dance, even Maddie and Q, Aubrey and David say how hard that dance was. And going back to where you guys were saying about your performance, it's just that I feel like the competition this season is very tough.
Yes.
And it's not if you make a mistake. It's when you make a mistake and how fast you can fix those mistakes, right? So we all made mistakes, right? And it's just, you got to stay focused. And when you're in the back of the pack, you got to make less of those, mistakes and less costly mistakes. Because when we got 10th that first time, it was hard for us to go back up. It took us, 4 legs to get back to the front. So, I
want to ask you before we get into the episode 7, real quick, that dance challenge, Glenda Lumumba, talk to me about your frame of thought going into it, like opening the clue. You chose dance. Why did you choose dance? And then the struggles of actually doing the challenge. And not only that, but also the perspective of Will and Abby got kicked out. So were you guys worried about, maybe it doesn't matter if we finish lower than the pack because we're not going to get kicked off. They said no non-elimination legs, but truly this was a non-elimination leg. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
So, just for clarity, you're talking about the leg when we were in Amman, Jordan.
Correct. Yeah.
So after we had finished racing through Petra in 117 degree weather, the next day we had these different choices in the race to through Amman, and the 2 options were a courtship dance similar to the same idea of the dance in when we were in Innsbruck, and then we also had the choosing the Arabic alphabet and learning the Arabic alphabet. Now, there was something really huge that was going on in the back of our brains because the last time we tried to go to class to learn anything.
No, he's a teacher.
Even though I'm a teacher, we were on the mega leg in Bologna, and there we did terribly. So, it took us so long to get done with that class lesson.
Yes. So we were concerned that we were not going to do well in the memorization challenge. We knew we did pretty decent on the dance challenge, so we thought, okay, let's just do the dance. Had no idea though that when you're doing these judging challenges, you are at the mercy of the instructor. So the instructor doesn't tell us what is wrong, and the producers literally tell the judge, tell Glenda what is wrong, because we literally had to tell her to tell me, because she wouldn't tell me what was wrong, and the instructor wouldn't tell me, so we don't know what's happening.
Yeah. So just to give you a little, we chose. Just like everybody else did, we chose our dancer to teach us, our instructor to teach us. And so as we went through learning, we took an extra time just to make sure we got it, because we weren't, the best dancer. So we were, when we got there, I think we got in there was it right after Aubrey and David?
Yeah, I think so.
And then I think Quentin and Maddie and Lewis and Michelle, I think you guys showed up right after.
Yeah.
And so we were taking our time because we were like, oh my goodness, these people, they know how to dance. They're going to get it regardless.
Yeah.
So let's just be okay with them kind of passing us just to get it right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when we started doing the dance, and the dance judge, it took her 6 times before she told us what the problem was. And our dance instructor in all 6 times never told us what the problem was. She kept telling us, oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. So by number 6, I guess the producer stepped in and were like, listen, you guys, y'all take 5. So they took a 15-minute break and told them, listen, you need to tell Glenda and Lumumba what the problem is. You can't just keep telling them it's, you're no good and it's good, And so that's when they finally said, you guys are bouncing. It was after the 6th time. Yeah. And then after that, we got it like right after that.
Yeah, but we did keep in mind. So after that, we kept in mind that Abby and Will were going to be eliminated, and we were still trying to play the game. You want to tell, like our thought process was, Glenda, you'll do the next challenge. Even I could tell it was going to be something that I'm not good at, but we were like, okay, but we are still counting the different roadblocks because each team member has only a certain amount of roadblocks to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to play the game
of balancing out the roadblocks.
Yeah, because there's no way I would have done that card if Abby and Will was still playing.
So
no way.
Yeah.
Because I knew Lumumba was much faster than me.
Yeah. Like I built this entire room. Like literally, I did literally.
Yeah.
The whole point was that my wife, since we were already last place, she was like, you know what? We're going to be in last. It would be better instead of us fighting to get, second to last or something like that.
Yeah.
We may gain a couple of legs. And that was something that, to me, it wouldn't have been a big challenge doing the cart, even though I know it was for some. But that's all I do around the house. I work with my hands. I build stuff all the time, everything I build. In order for us to recoup that extra roadblock, we're just like, babe, you know what? We're already in last. Instead of fighting to get another place, would you be willing to? That was the Would you be willing to just take one for the team?
Yeah.
And I know you've never wielded a hammer before. She's never held a hammer. I know you've never, but we'll just get through it. And and she did the most amazing job. She did so well.
I just felt bad. I felt bad because I knew, like, oh my God, this is Lumumba's dream, and I knew it wasn't going to be doing well, but I felt bad because I'm like, man, I'm putting us in like the worst position, which is 45 minutes behind.
I know, and it's fine, especially because you did something that you've never done, and you just proved to yourself and your partner that you got through it, and that's the best thing in the world, especially when you don't think you could get through it and you do, and that was the time that you could do it because there was no elimination.
And that whole event that just happened, and you have your husband there just grabbing you, pulling you to the side, saying, hey, it's okay, you got this. That was just a beautiful moment. And that's a story that you guys could tell Boom Boom, one day. So it was a beautiful thing. You know what else, Mike? Probably why else they picked a dancing task is because they dance bachata.
I was about to say,
I know. I was like,
they dance bachata. So when you guys come to Miami, we're doing a triple date because my brother can dance too.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
That's actually how we met.
Yeah.
But really? What about you guys? This leg started everybody from at an even playing field. We were all on the top of the Citadel, and we were just waiting there. We heard the news about Will and Abby, which was well. First of all, what did you guys think about that? About Will and Abby?
That was so sad, dude. Like,
I cried definitely.
To be eliminated via FaceTime. Oh man, like that's tough, and it's just nobody's ever been eliminated like that before in the Amazing Race for COVID.
Well, they could be the first in Amazing Races.
Yeah, I mean, they got first.
They got a unique title, right?
I wouldn't want to make
No, I know.
Like
and it's been a dream of ours to be on the Amazing Race, too.
Yeah.
So that hurt me down there. And I cried at that moment because I was like, especially her heart and soul into this. Abby
and Will's a big fan, too. We forget.
Yeah.
Will's a big fan, too.
It's just she's extra loud about it.
But
it's just... I would have been depressed the whole entire time.
Yeah. You guys clutched that mask on real tight right after that announcement.
Everybody did.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes, because you never know. It could have been any one of us, and we're sitting here like, where did they get it? Or like, because we're all having to talk to locals to figure out where to go, and it's like, dang, that could have happened to any one of us. So it was just so crazy.
So when you guys, because you guys had just won the last leg, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were hot. Like, I mean, you guys were on fire, literally and figuratively. I mean, so how did you feel about the fact that because I know how we felt about starting at an even keel with everybody.
We were like,
how did you guys, we were excited. So you guys are getting two different perspectives here. Everybody that's watching. How did you guys feel about, being even, everyone, the playing field being even out and we all having the same start time?
Oh man, I was just like, when Phil was standing there and he told us the news that nobody's going to get eliminated because Will and Abby already got eliminated, I'm like, all right, that's cool. But then he's like, all right, so we're all starting at the same time, and I'm just like, wait, what? Like, what?
I was upset.
I still want to get first place. Yeah. I still want my lead. I want to get a prize,
It was the first time we were going to get a lead. Like, we had never gotten that lead before.
But it happened so fast. I mean, obviously you guys were there. It's like, hey, we're all leaving at the same time. Okay, everybody gets, and the world is waiting, and go. It's just like, all right, nothing we could do. But
you got to continue.
And just like, I mean, I'm sure you guys would have had the same attitude where you're not going to just think about it and complain. Nah, let's go. All right, whatever. It's nothing we could do about it now. Now let's just move forward and think about the future. So that's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
love that. And then let's take that into the beginning of episode 7, right? So we're going to France. Talk to me about like going. Glenda, Lumumba, obviously you guys were in last place the leg before. Mm-hmm. How was the plane ride? How was behind the scenes getting to France? You guys didn't know you were going to France. You get there. Anything interesting happen?
Behind the scenes?
Yeah.
I recall it being a good plane ride.
Do you guys remember in the airport when we got our tickets and they didn't tell us, but we saw Toulouse.
It said Toulouse
on the booking ticket, and we were just like,
Lewis was telling me that
doesn't sound like a real city.
Yeah, he was like, they're tricking us. They're telling us that we're going somewhere and it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And I was like, that can't be real. But that's the first time, Mike, that they have an actual city name on our tickets. It usually says like unknown, which is crazy because everyone and also like every time we go to an airport, the monitors will say unknown for our flight number. Yeah. Isn't that wild, guys? What we went through?
It was like covert CIA clandestine stuff going on. Like, how do you change the actual flight location on the ticker tape? I don't know how you do that.
That's so crazy.
I know, that's insane.
It was so wild. We lived something that nobody else got to live, like, ever.
Definitely.
But when did we find out that we were in France? Like, nobody told us, did they?
I don't think they did.
I don't think anybody told us.
No. I think when we landed and we looked around the airport,
and everything's in French.
We kind of picked up that things were in French. So we're in France. I think at this point, in the entire race, I really feel like having seen so many people go home, there was also more of like a weight to it because these were now people that you had spent the past, 3-4 weeks with. Yeah. And so now, to see Will and Abby go home, to see, team, Linton and Sharik go home, to see Dom and Rich go home, to see, just everyone. Yeah. It started to get, I think, more real and more intense because it was
for sure
kind of, being reduced down to, okay, these are starting to become our competitors.
Yeah, you see less seats on the more seats open on the plane. They're like, man, I can stretch out right here. Oh, Rex Ryan used to be here. Let me get little by little. Like you see more. It's like it's an eerie feeling. So and then so most episodes it's like last few episodes it's like, oh, we're going to Jordan. You see Phil tell us about going to Italy. We didn't know anything until we got to the airport. We see we're in France. And I want to say, obviously, it's a travel day. We rested it, and then the next day we raced. It was a long bus ride to this region. You guys remember that, right?
France? Mm-hmm. It's like the south of France, right?
Yeah. It was, I want to say like an hour and a half ride to here.
Yeah, definitely countryside.
Oh my
rolling
goodness.
hills. It was called, the Land of 1,000 Castles.
Yeah.
And it lived up to that name.
Yeah. This is like the Beverly Hills of the Middle Ages, Mike. You from Dordogne? You got a castle? I want to marry you.
Oh, that's the name of the episode. Beverly Hills of the Medieval Ages.
If you're from Miami.
Oh, that's great. All right, so talk to me guys then about your pre-race mentality, right? Glenda, Lumumba, you guys are coming in, 45 minutes behind Lewis and Michelle, but only 15 minutes behind 5th and 6th place, which was Emily and Molly and Michael and Marcus, if I'm not mistaken, right? Mm-hmm. What is your mindset coming into this leg of the race?
We fully do not believe we're going home. Honest to God.
100%.
We are in this race knowing the history of everything that we studied.
Yep.
You never know. Strange or crazy things have happened. People have lost their passports and been eliminated. People have got into arguments, have gotten lost, right? So we literally are like, this is still anybody's game is our mindset.
Yeah. You guys had a mentality throughout the leg too, which I loved, which is amazing. Throughout the leg.
Our mentality really, our confidence, I think, had grown because we realized that we could run strong legs, that racing with our strategy, we were able to to be successful. And even though we did get behind in one or two legs, we may have started at the back, but we never came in the second to the last place. We always gained on a team, or at least one or two teams. So we were like, you know what, just by being consistent and racing our race, we're already, we're starting at the end, but we really felt like people were probably nervous because, they knew we were coming. Yeah. We had even more incentive to not make any mistakes, and we had our game plan.
So we made another big mistake.
well,
we'll get to that.
We turning the car over into a ditch. I don't know. I mean,
all right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a hot second. Yeah.
When you're in the back of the pack, you get this superpower of just wanting to push through. Because I know that you felt that as well. Yeah. It's it comes from within, and you have no idea what it is. But you're like, I'm coming. Yeah.
And we needed a superpower to start off this leg because before we even got the clue, we had to run up the castle.
Yeah.
They didn't show that, but it was like a decent run by just the director Bertram was like, all right, when he sounds the horn, give it a few seconds and you start running. And we were all like fatty breathing when we got to the clue. Like,
you guys remember waiting on that horn? You're like, okay, when the horn blows, and then he blows it. It's not like a horn sound. It's like.
And so I'm laughing because he's like, and I'm like, it's like this really nice, I'm expecting. So I'm laughing and I can't run and laugh at the same time because I'm like, what is this,
dude?
So the leg didn't. So your leg didn't start with you opening the clue? Is that what you guys are saying? It started with you running after this horn?
Yeah, running, and then we had to run up to get the clue. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And
that's
then,
great.
Yeah, and then it says to go to Chateau Camarac, right? Camarac, I don't even know how to pronounce it. So Mike, on the additional notes, it says go north, right? And then you'll start seeing this street. We are in the middle of rural France, dude. Yeah. There's not street signs. There is nothing out here, and obviously what
you're trying to say, it's not a grid like New York or like Miami. It's
so you see streets everywhere. So we went north for a bit, and there's a lot of little streets going different directions. We saw a lady outside her house.
Well, at first, what happened was we looked at the map and we couldn't find where we were.
That too.
So the reason why we stopped, because if we would have found where we were, I would have told Lewis, go north and then I'll figure it out. But I had no placement to start with.
Yeah.
So that's where you go to see that 15 minutes can go by like this.
So, and then that's when we saw a lady outside with her dog. We're like, can you help us? She ran inside her house.
Yeah.
She kept hiding.
She hid behind the tree and then
we saw another guy across the street, And we're like, hey, sir, can you help us? He's like, no, I'm not from here. And I'm like, why did I sound German? I don't know. So and then they were like, okay, we use your phone. He goes, no. And then he walks inside. We're like, all right, whatever. You gotta understand, Mike, like if you live out here in the middle of this area in France, you like your solidarity. You like your privacy. And if somebody probably comes up to you, with a bunch of cameras, they're probably going to be a little upset. Like, nah, like, leave me alone. So, I get it.
We also spoke to a lady who only spoke French.
Mike, so
she couldn't find the place on the map.
Exactly. So that's why you see Derek and Claire catch up to us. Because we went back into town, and that's where the whole...
And that's where tourists were.
Yes, that's where tourists was. That's where the whole follow us. And I'm like... No, thanks. I already got directions.
Talk to me about how you started the race, your mindset, and then the mindset of Derek and Claire caught up. Oh, what's happening and all that stuff. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I knew time was ticking. If I was going to see another team, I knew it was going to happen. We're very all right. We see them, whatever. We got directions. We're gonna know where to go. By the time I saw Derek and Claire, we already had very good directions. It's still difficult getting there, man, but we had better directions. So I got to defend Aubrey and David a little bit here because we did try to work together. But the thing is, we had separate directions, So Aubrey and David probably knew that we were also trying to find a way. So they were kindly saying, hey, follow us. But I already got my own directions. I'm not going to follow you because I don't know what your directions you have.
Yeah, and there was no time to explain, oh, no, we got different directions. They were like, follow us, and they left, and it was like, we can't follow you anymore because we got other
Glenda Lumumba, what would you guys do if somebody said, hey, follow us?
We're following, we're doing our own thing. Yeah. We said in the beginning of the race that we were not going to pair up with anyone. We were going to just focus on working our own race because... We've seen in different past episodes where people actually messed up multiple teams following each other. So we just were like, no.
Did you ever work?
Huh?
Did you ever work with that? Anyone?
I don't think so.
I don't think
so. No, not really.
No, not really.
Not really. Go ahead.
So head of the class, the mega leg, when we were in the class trying to figure out the anatomy, we tried to work with Rich Dom, but it just didn't work out. No. So we were like, nah, this is not going to work.
Because we were so far behind. But that surprised me, during this leg in the Amazing Race that so many people did try to work together. And then another thing that surprised me, since we out, we gonna talk.
We gonna talk.
The fact that everybody was following Marcus and Michael, that right there blew me away.
So is that only this leg, or is that before several legs?
I feel like for a number of legs, there's certain teams that are starting to follow Michael and Marcus as a strategy.
Yeah.
And so that really kind of surprised me. Because, we didn't come into we had seen previous seasons of the Amazing Race where certain teams did follow other teams, and that kind of leaves you at the kind of at their mercy. Yeah. Vulnerable, so you don't know. But I guess by this time they had done so well, they were gathering like a little tail going there. So, that was kind of interesting.
Well, a little funny behind the scenes was they told us afterwards that Aubrey and David and Derek and Claire went down the hill wherever they were going, the other direction. Derek gets out of the car and his compass doesn't work in his car. So he was just outside trying to figure out directions, by his watch, just like a lost little puppy.
Yeah.
And basically they had to turn around because they were going the wrong way.
Yeah. So I think there's two differences, right, between following and working together. You guys didn't even work together with anybody. You guys were just doing your own thing. So
yeah, we were we probably should have followed the
no. Only on the mega leg. Because on every other leg, the directions we were spot on.
Well,
didn't do well with the dancing.
So Lumumba actually on this leg, which is the seventh leg, he actually had the right directions, directions, but he second guessed himself.
Let me tell you why.
And that's how I ended up driving us into a ditch because we were on a road we shouldn't have been on because he second guessed. Yeah. The very first thing that he said to do, he was like, "No, let's not do that."
But let me tell you why, though. Right? So I think it was D25. It will forever be etched in my brain. The road D25 we were driving on, and it was it turns off to Les Isé or something like that. Yeah. And so we were about to turn right onto Les Isles, and it had a red triangle. I don't know if you guys remember the red triangle, and it looked like there was a tractor up on that road. And I was like, that looks like a construction sign.
Thought it was something dangerous.
I was like, babe, we're in a foreign country. I don't want to put you in danger. I'll just get us there some other way. Irony.
No other way. Yeah.
The irony. Yeah. Because me choosing not to go down the directions that we had, that were the actual directions, that were the actual direction that we ironically had to turn around and go down anyway, because I decided, hey, for the safety of my wife, I didn't want to go down a road construction area. We ended up, our very next turn was down the that road that we ended up turning.
Did you Google Map it? Like, did you guys
5 minutes later?
You stopped and used the phone, or you just made your own path?
Did you ask for directions, or you follow the map?
No, so on the map, I was looking at the two different routes. One of them was, the direct route. And then the other one, if you continued on D25, it's probably like 10, maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes out of the way. Yeah. And so I was thinking, okay, we'll go semi, to the left and kind of figure out, how to get back on the highway, on the right way. But, in France, listen, all those roads are so narrow, they don't even look like roads. And so it was just a bad decision.
Yeah, I mean, we can get to that later, but my thing was I always wanted to have Lewis stop, because I don't know if it's like that where you live, but here if you get on one highway and there's another one is always going to take you longer, or another road has more lights, or this place has more traffic at a certain time. So I would always tell him I want to stop because I want to go the fastest way, Mm-hmm. And then sometimes we wouldn't. We would just go by the map, and it wasn't that we would get lost or like we knew kind of where we were going, but we were trying to follow the map, and it's hard to do it off the map because it's a one way, it's a this, it's a that. It gets
and it's
difficult.
Not north and south. Like Mike, these roads were like, to go north, it's like this, south, and then,
tell me.
And then you're looking at the compass. There's no point looking at the compass.
Very true.
We've been to Paris, right? And we can tell you this story, like the long story, but the short story is, we get to our place where we're staying at, and I need to go to the supermarket, and I look at the map, right? This was like 10 years ago, so we didn't have like international roaming and all this kind of stuff, right? So I look at a map, and I'm like, okay, I know how to get there. I got lost for 2 hours because the road didn't go south; it curved. And so then I turned at the wrong thing, and then suddenly I thought I was going west, but really I was going north because it curved like this, and then it was in Paris. And
yes.
Michelle was so mad. Michelle's my wife. Michelle got so mad, and she was pregnant with our first child. It was the worst. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. I have been to Paris. I have not driven in Paris. I've Ubered as a passenger in Paris, but even the roads are so confusing, so I can totally understand.
On top of that, when we got out, when we were eliminated, the driver to take us back to the airport got lost on our way there. Literally, we took an additional 30 minutes because the driver, who was native to France, who was also using GPS, got lost on our way back to the airport.
Yes, and it's wild because there's so many people online that are just, how can you got to learn how to read a map, or my wonderful mother-in-law, why do you guys get lost all the time? Because it's hard,
and because they don't show the other teams getting lost, but almost everybody takes that wrong turn and turns around, right back around. They just wanted us to look like a lot.
But so far, like, we weren't lost in this part of the leg, right, Mike? We got to our castle pretty decent. It's after
so you guys get to the leg. You guys get to the castle. I want to fast forward a little bit. Yeah. I want to get to Glenda Lumumba because you guys get lost on the way, and then you got to talk about the accident or the car rolling back. You got give me some more details on that.
So, like we said, Lumumba second guessed himself, takes me to a road that's not really a road. I can't really tell that it's a road until that it's not a road, until people are literally walking with their dogs, and it was like a shepherd's like the cane, or what do you call it? What is it, like a crook or whatever? And they're looking
Thursday in France.
They're looking like what? And we don't speak French. So they're basically like, you're on our property, like get off our property. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to back up, but I can't turn around. So I have to like back up. I don't see that there's like a drop off and there's like grass and brush.
Okay, now mind you, if you look at the shot where it just shows the car and where, kind of coming forward, you see the brush off to the side, to the right side. Yeah. That's exactly what we saw. You cannot tell that everything that's green in that image is a little
a drop off.
It's a drop off. It drops off everything that's green. You can't drive on the green.
Can't see it. So I back up and I'm like, oh my God, the car is flipping. Thank God there was like a post or whatever that held us up, because we literally would have been like tumbling, because it's a decent drop off. You can't tell, but it's like literally like,
it's not just a ditch, it's a hill.
It's a hill.
So it's a dip, and then the hill is about 100 meters, about a 15-degree decline.
And
so potentially it could have been very dangerous.
Wow. Yeah, you can see it in like the clip, and you have it still there. You can see like, oh my God, like, but you can't tell from looking at the picture and looking at that still that there's a drop off.
I never would have thought that.
I mean,
oh my God.
That still looks very scary. That looks like a step away.
Yeah, and if you look maybe like 100 feet ahead, it looks like it's level, right?
Exactly.
So you would think that it's just level the whole way through.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thankfully someone had called their neighbor, and she literally did come really fast though. It was like, boom, she was right there with the tractor. It was the grandma with the tractor.
Yeah, we call Tractor Granny.
Listen, Tractor
riding it with her stallion.
She needs a business.
And she was looking for her money too. And we were like, AmazingRace.
That is another story. Okay.
We haven't told this story, not even on our podcast.
Go.
So after she pulls us, and I had to help her because the first time she tried to pull us, she was at a wrong angle. So I was like, no, I ended up having to direct everything. Like, no, pull this way. We hook it, the chain, and she pulls us out. So right after we do that and we do our health checks and everything, and we're all cleared to go, then she comes back to us. And by this time we have EMS, and we also have an interpreter that's along with us with our security team, because everybody from the entire CBS production crew was with us to make sure that we were okay once they found out. So Tractor Granny, instead of letting us just leave, she starts to kind of come to us and talk to the French interpreter, in a very kind of assertive voice, like, where's my money? Like, hey,
you better have my money.
Where's my money? And so we don't know.
You better have my money.
We don't know what she's saying.
Tractor Granny's like,
she's like, heck no.
I need some new tires on this tractor.
Hey. So we didn't know.
Like, we only have them, and so people don't know Lumumba, but the AmazingRace, you don't have any money. We don't have anything on us other than what they give you, what the production gives you, right? So I don't have a credit card.
No.
In my notes, we got €0 this leg.
So we carried over maybe 40 euros.
Yeah.
And so we had 40 euros on us, but the interpreter's so embarrassed to even let us know, but she was like, kind of trying to be like, listen, give
I
me
need
my money. So we're like, listen, I'm like, babe, I said, this is the funny part. This is the funny part, right? So I'm like, babe, give me your bag, give me the cash, right? And she's like, what are you gonna do? I said, babe,
I'm like, we might need this money.
She's like, we might need this money. I'm like, babe, listen to me, because Tractor Granny ain't letting us go. So I took the money and I gave Tractor Granny, I don't know if I peeled off $40 for her, 40 euros. And I'm like, let's go. Let's let the production company handle the rest. We did that just so she would turn around. Yeah. And she ended up talking to them for much longer, but we just peeled off.
We're like, please, can you pay her what she wants? Because what we didn't want is, you guys know, if you are an AmazingRace fan, if we don't settle something from someone, they could like Phil could say, like, you needed to settle that bill. And we were like kind of thinking race wise, like, oh my God, we can't have like something like outstanding or whatever. I don't know.
Exactly.
You should have raised your Jordan money. Like, this is all I have.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have.
It has King Hussein on it.
So wild. Like, yeah, and that's the rule, Mike. Like, even if there's, it could be a taxi bill, it could be a police ticket, or Tractor Granny.
You get a penalty, right?
Pull your car out of the ditch. Yeah, but that's such a different circumstance. I'm not sure if that falls in the rules, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you guys did.
This was the strangest. But she came quickly. She came so quick, like this had happened before. Like literally, she came, she had the hook, she had the chain, she had the tractor, and she arrived. Now, when they called her, she arrived about 5 minutes after they called.
Yeah.
But they didn't call her till maybe about 20 minutes in. And so the whole ordeal took about 25 to 30 minutes from start to finish.
Got it.
Yeah. So we were already behind, and then you have that, and it's like,
She's like the French AAA.
Or maybe that's why they don't trim it down purposely, because that's their actual business, taking out the cars from the ditch.
All this is their private property, by the way. This was like a 1.5 mile long driveway through their private farm.
Wow.
And that road was on the map, and it showed that it connected to the highway on the other side. But it didn't say that this was somebody's private driveway. And that's the reason why we had to turn around. And got stuck in the ditch.
So I found a comment online, and it says, "Can Glenda and Lumumba show up to the next task in the tractor?" So I thought that was an interesting comment. And if not for the next task, then maybe for Halloween one year, you guys show up in a tractor.
We should have been a tractor journey.
That would have been
this Halloween. They didn't know we were out by then.
Other than that, did you guys have so you guys get the car out, and you're still in good vibes. Love you guys, man. You guys, I could picture so many teams getting frustrated, giving up, or just like we're done, being negative. You guys still had great vibes, and people see that. People love that. Great job, man. And you guys, so you guys get the car out. Any other troubles getting to the roadblock? No,
because he has great directions at this point. You just need to go with what he originally thought.
I stuck with the plan.
But this was the cool thing. It's like we learned so much about each other during the Amazing Race. Like, he overthinks. When he's stressed, I'm overactive when I'm stressed, right? So we learned during this, wow, follow your first mind, and then trust him a little, trust him more. So it was really good. I think the positive vibe for me was we're just so happy to continue to race, because I really didn't want to go out like that. I wanted to go out finishing the task and finishing the legs. I was just so happy that we were able to at least continue to fit the race to finish.
Yeah.
I think that was what I was thinking.
Yeah, because at this point, when that car started tipping, I was afraid for my wife's safety. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. I was afraid for our safety. And so when it stopped on that fence post, I was praising and thanking God.
Yep.
I was praising and thanking God, because we had gone from having a TV moment to having a real life, situation. Yeah. And so when we climbed out of the car while it was on its side, mind you, it's leaning against a fence post. And you guys didn't see the hill, but if that fence post hadn't been there, we would have been rolling, and it stopped in a little creek down at the bottom. Oh. And so I was just so grateful. So we took a moment to the side, didn't know that we were going to be able to get back in the race. And at that moment, it was like, it doesn't matter. So when they came back and said we could continue to race, that's when we became so grateful, because it's like, you know what? Even if, we just didn't want to go out without finishing, we didn't want that feeling. But at that moment, there was bigger picture type stuff going on,
You had a big mind shift.
Yeah. We should all go back to that post and I don't know, take it out of there, or bring it home or something, or thank you post. I don't know, man. We gotta do something for that post, man.
Do a shrine for the
post. Take a picture with it.
Yeah, just take a picture of the post. Hey, you love you, post.
Oh my God, you guys, on the next obstacle. I'm sorry, on the next roadblock, you guys killed it,
Michelle. So we literally saw, we're like, wow, that's super smart. Like, don't try to memorize all that stuff. Go down, get the figure out what names need to be pulled, and then go back again. So that was super smart. You figured that out quickly, because I would have been like, What am I memorizing? What am I memorizing?
So what place did you guys arrive at the castle?
And then I was like, what am I doing? I'm the first one here. I'm gonna rappel down, see what type of questions they ask, and then go back up and do it again.
They got there first, right? Michelle, tell me about memorizing the names, because they were showing that on the edit. I think there were a few that they didn't mention, but we were talking about it in the in the watch party.
I started to learn the flags and names individually because I had no idea which one went with the other one. Jean d'amour la Bruce. So Jean loves her brows. Jean also loves chapstick.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit. First of all, I was really excited because I love heights. So the moment I saw the castle, there was no, you want to do it or I do it. It was automatically me, and I opened it up. I was like, yes! I didn't even know what I had to do. I was just like so glad that we had to rappel. So I've seen amazing, like I'm a big fan of Amazing Race too, and there has been a challenge before where I've seen people not at the very beginning go fast, but I just looked at it and I was just like, this is too much to handle. And actually, I second guessed myself. I was like, was there a lot of flags? I'm like, I really hope there was a lot of flags. If not, then I'm going to look dumb going down first. But you always second guess like what you actually did. And I don't know, like it just came into it. I was fine, and I was nervous because sometimes when you're first, you have a disadvantage because you don't know what to do or you don't have someone to follow if they went down. So I don't know. I'm still amazed, and I get red like thinking about it when people tell me you did a great job because it makes me like nervous.
I was so proud of her she told me about it. Yeah. But when I saw it last week on the episode, I was just like, I was so proud of you, babe. Yeah. You did so good.
Thank you.
And all right, so let's review the names. John with the brow. Chappelle, chapstick.
Chapstick, yeah.
Jean likes chapstick. Jean
those
with
were
the brows.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one.
Francois something.
Was it Manu? Oh, France, I will not fail you. France,
that's right.
Fayette.
What was the one that didn't make it?
Something about the French menu, and I didn't like room service the night before.
Oh my God!
I didn't like the room service, so it said something with menu, and it had like a little line, and I was like, I didn't like the room service last night, so the menu, no. And I forgot what the last one was.
That was great. Can we talk about the Lumumba strategy? Will we do the hokey pokey and the funky chicken?
Hey, you mean the non-strategy I had?
No, man, yeah, you had a strategy, man. Yours involved dancing again.
Listen, mine involved like full immersion, full sensory immersion. I had to say it. I had to visualize it. I had to like. You remember in Madagascar? You remember the lion? How he was like the lion paws.
I was over there doing everything I could to remember. Chappelle was like a lion. It was like Chappelle. If I had done that one more time, you'd probably see me doing the funky chicken or the electric slide to get those names.
When I saw, because one of the crests was Chappelle, and Chappelle had the lion, you know,
That's
and I was
right.
like, it was like lion paws.
Hey, I was rolling, man, just watching you shit down.
It was crazy.
Wait, so when you got there, you were by yourself, right? So did you try and learn flags, or did you go down quickly?
Well, when I first got there, remember, since no one was there, I didn't know the strategy. So I stayed probably about maybe 10 minutes to memorize the actual
initial family tree.
But then I was like, you know what? I got to keep moving to see what the actual test is about.
Yeah,
so I figured it out, went down, came back up. You know, I think I did. I may have done it one more time than they showed. But, but figured it out. You know, it was pretty, it wasn't too hard after you kind of got it.
Yeah. It's so cool. You guys rappelled down a castle in France.
Yeah.
Do you know that these locations, like the castle that we started in, Castle Chateau de Benac, was the one in The Last Duel with Matt Damon and Adam Driver?
That's so
I didn't know
crazy.
That.
Yeah, I didn't know
Did not know that. Did not know
That's very cool.
And I'm sure they use all these castles for a lot of different movies. Like,
for sure.
It's something out of Game of Thrones, man. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Such a great moment.
Talk to me, Lumumba, about your harness, right? Was it, were your goods, talk to me about the goods. Were they okay? Was everything fine? Did you get tested?
Your boo-boo maker good?
The reason is you guys remember the season 29 with Brooke, and I forgot her partner.
The window.
They had Scott.
Yeah.
they had, not them, but there was a team that had to rappel and clean the windows, and he was like complaining, and
about
he
his
went
testicles.
and then he went to like the ER, and that was
the window.
The ER station. So I was nervous because I was like, I remember that episode.
Dude,
I felt so bad during that episode because I was just like, he is complaining for no reason. I had no idea if they were here. He was probably scared. I don't know, but I'm like, come on, just do it.
All right, Michelle.
Right.
Other seasons.
He was really like complaining. And I was like, is this a thing like with guys? And like, I don't know. I'm like, babe, just be careful.
But Lewis, you guys, you know, hey, listen, you know, if you're trying to have a baby, like that's the most important part of the body is like, you know, and it's getting scissored between two harnesses.
Like, oh no. I figured they would probably put that in the edit.
That was fine. Listen, we did some, you know, just like you guys, we did some pretty intense training. So like we had done rappelling and rock wall climbing and stuff like that. So it wasn't a big issue. It was I was with Michelle. Michelle, you were having the time of your life.
He was having,
and I was like,
he
you know
forgot
what?
about the Amazing Race. He stopped. You know, he just was enjoying the tasks.
Yeah, and especially with what just happened too. It's like your frame of mind is different, and you're just kind of going through this, and you're like, "I'm so glad everything is okay. Let's go."
Yes.
Yeah, definitely grateful.
You guys, it's so like this whole leg. You guys just kept your positivity. It is awesome. And all right, so next spot, we are going to. Oh, I'll never forget this. We have to go to Le Ferme de Turnac. All right.
Film de Turnac.
Yes. So you guys remember that Le Ferme de Turnac
You've been waiting to do
was
this.
not on the map, right? You guys remember those words weren't on the map? Yeah, it was
Kringle de Monfort.
Kringle. On the additional notes, Mike, it said look for also known as Kringle de Monfort. We're like, perfect. We found that on the map.
Turnac was on the map, but not the whole thing.
Not Le Ferme.
Turnac is, I think, the town.
Yeah. So Turnac was on there, but not okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we didn't go in the same way we came out. That was our first mistake. So we left like a more northern road, but Michelle found us. She found us on the map, and as we're going towards that area, towards Kringle de Monfort from the Turnac, so we start seeing signs that say Kringle de Monfort.
Wait, before we get there, can I say something?
Yeah.
We got into our first little fight after that, like after the whole leg, because Louis.
This is the first fight? First fight?
Yeah. Like
first fight.
Yeah, like actually, like we were going back and forth with each other.
Yeah, it was an argument.
Yeah, it was an argument. So he goes to me, Michelle, I'm gonna need you to help me pay attention because the way we went in, we were following signs to the castle. And he's like, I'm gonna need you to pay attention how we go in and so we can know how to go out. And I'm like, so I'm supposed to take the notes, look at the map, do the navigation, look at the signs, and then figure out the way we came in and out. Like it wasn't on the map. And he was like, yes. And we were arguing back and forth. And he's like, I'm telling you that I can't do it by myself. And I'm like, I'm telling you that I can't take over another task because now it's too much for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, we need to understand each other. And it was funny because he's sitting there mad and we're eating our food. And then we hear Emily and Molly arguing with each other, saying the same thing. Like,
really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah. They're like, Molly and Emily were like, I'm going to need you to help me out. And she's like, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. No, you have to. You have to pay attention to like the big landmarks. Like, how did you go in? Because
sure.
It was a lot of adjusting here, Mike.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Glenda, Lamamba, had this ever happened to you in any previous legs or in this leg? How are you guys with navigating?
Okay, so like we've had arguments, off screen or whatever.
Yeah.
Disagreements, whatever you want to call it. But kind of not like that. Like, I think it's more so like with us because we're still getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. It's more so like we're still trying to figure out, okay, what each other's strengths are.
So I just relied on him completely on the for navigating. I'm just like, okay. So, except when we had, like, I don't know, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but we'll talk about this. Except when it was like that dead end. Everybody hit that dead end. And
everybody.
Like, Lumumba, we gotta look like at the signs and at our surroundings. We can't just look at the map because we figured that out in the mega leg, and then we had to do it again in Dom, like trying to get to Dom. So
Ours were mainly like, how does she argue? How do I argue? Like, and both of us have like real intense silence. It's like,
oh no, we can go back and forth too.
Well, I mean,
go back and forth.
We don't go back and forth.
We get back and forth.
Yeah, it's more like, it's intense. We kind of do go back and forth.
Yes,
but it's not. But we don't go back and forth like that. Like, we don't cuss at each other.
Oh, well, no. I mean,
some people cuss, some people fight, some people
But we still go back and forth though.
Yeah, I mean,
because we both we're very passionate about what we believe and what we think.
Yeah,
you know. But I think for me, I was not secure in my navigation, so I relied on him.
Yeah. So you guys having been together for, is this 13 years now?
Yes, 13 years.
Right?
Wow.
So I mean, just first of all, shout out and
thank you.
Awesome
love
about
longevity.
that. Because you guys were literally you guys were literally, and we'll say this, you are our favorite couple on the show.
Yes.
Hands down.
Yes, Louis and Michelle know this.
Hands down. So, anyway.
It's not a surprise.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. Because we loved how you guys, like, it was like, this is your wife of 6 years, but she was like your girlfriend. It was like you guys were dating and so giddy and like you were just so loving to each other.
Yes.
It was just so beautiful and you had so much fun. So like,
so much fun.
How do you feel like your relationship has really like helped you when it came to those tense moments?
Yes, the great question, man. So unlike you guys, like we went through those growing pains of arguing and how we argue in the beginning of our relationships. So we did have, like, when we first started dating and even our first 3 years of marriage, it was, I was the type of person that held stuff in. And then when things bothered me, I would just explode. So from my personal growth, I've learned, like, just communicate with stuff right away. And I can't have that stuff boil inside of me and later just, blow it out of proportion. And why am I blowing? Because she's saying, why are you being so mad if the current problem is this big, but I have all these other problems that I want to talk about. So I learned that. And I feel like, what else about relationship?
I feel like going into the race, we knew a lot about each other, but recently we did learn how to communicate so well with each other. What he was saying, we talk about stuff now, even if it's bothering a little, we don't want to talk about it now. It's like, hey, that bothered me, but we're going to talk about it after kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in the race, Louis is very loud and very passionate. And I'm like, I always take a step back. I felt, and this happened in the first episode, that he wouldn't listen to me. So coming into the race, I was like, I don't want us to argue because the moment you start arguing, things start coming down. And me, I'm very emotional. So if he were to argue with me during the race, I would probably cry and give the show what they want, basically. Like shut down and like not be able to communicate. So that was one of the things going in where like we need to be positive. We need to have fun. We need to push each other. We need to like, if there's a situation where I'm doing something bad in the challenge, you can't get mad at me. You got to like make me feel better about it.
Yeah. So, and that makes me think of one thing. So that's one thing about a relationship. Like, yes, we already worked out those kinks, so we didn't have to do it during the race, which I guess helped. We did talk about, not like we could disagree and still be okay with each other. Like there's things in life that you disagree with, but it's okay. We're different people. Let's keep it that way and move on. That reminds me, Mike, I got to give props to Marcus, right? Because his little brother left the keys all the way at the top of the hill.
Yeah, he did. That's right.
And what happened? Marcus put his head down. He said, all right, let's go get it. I feel like in a lot of teams in the past, like I see a lot of teams in prior seasons,
they're bickering.
What are you doing? Hey, you need more focus. You can't be doing stuff like, what's wrong with you?
100%.
And you could tell that Marcus is a great leader, but I'm pretty sure when they got back to the hotel room, Marcus let him have it. So yeah.
One of the questions that people probably have in their heads was, couldn't Michael just go up and get the keys and come back down to Marcus? But Louis, you were telling me that you guys have to be in proximity of each other all the time. So if Michael forgot got something, Marcus has to come up with him and go and get it.
Yep.
And that's a hype.
You know what? I like that because it is a competition of your team. So it's very easy for someone to choose someone that's stronger to go run and
So Mike, now I want to get back to the Gringo de Monfort. So we are driving, right? We see all these signs for Gringo de Monfort, right? And we're like, we're going the right way. This feels great. This feels great. We stop in a city to the east of, remember guys had that little loop in the map. So the river that goes like that.
Yeah. There was two ways to go this. There was one
you
could
go
around
or
this
you
way.
could go. Yeah, I remember
We were going the other way.
We went east. If you look at the map, we went east. And we stop at a city there. We ask for directions.
Again, I second guess myself.
So that's the first time that we wasted some time there, right? Because everybody wants to know, Mike, how the hell did Michael and Marcus pass us? So we stopped there one time. So we're driving and we still and the gentleman, we put Gringo de Monfort in his GPS.
No, in the first stop, the guy said, "My wife has my phone." He's like, "But it's over there," and he points. And we look when he pointed. There's a sign that says Gringo de Monfort. So we're like, "Okay, perfect. Yes, I was right. Let's follow it."
Yes, and we drive, Mike, and we're driving. And we pass it.
And then, we're driving and I see the little sign and it says Gringo de Monfort. But it's like a hill. It's like there's nowhere.
What we were at was the scenic view from 1,000 feet in the air of the valley of the river of Dordogne. Scenic view of Gringo de Monfort. So
you're at the overlook
down there.
At the overlook of Croqueta Chat.
Yes, the overlook. We're up in the mountains. There is no way down. We're in the mountain of up top. That's what all the signs were going, to the overlook.
There's no zip line. Michelle would love to just zip line straight down.
Across the valley.
So I made a U-turn just to make sure. Made another U-turn, started going. We stopped again in this area where there was a small bakery. A few people once again didn't like the cameras, and then we couldn't get directions. And then we stopped. There was an American couple. They helped us out. Then we put Le Ferme de Turnac, right? Which meant farm, right? Lumumba, farm, Le Ferme, farm.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But I didn't know that either. I listened to his podcast. And then that's when we got directions. But we're very east. So we had to go very west to go over the bridge into La Ferme de Turnac. Mike, they made up 40 minutes. Michael and Marcus said they timed us when we left the castle, including the time they took from going up and down to get their keys. 40 minutes. Michael and Marcus absolutely killed it in navigation.
But you know what? It just reinforces what the race is making, right? You guys are lost.
We're lost. We're lost.
And then the other teams, which I saw on the map as well, when I asked the gentleman, I was like, "Oh, we could go this way." And he's like, "No, that's not a trail." And Luis is like, "Yeah, that's a hiking trail." The other teams kept getting stuck because there was so many lines and there were hiking trails.
Yeah.
So like Derek and Claire, I think they told us like that Claire's like, "Make a left." And it's like, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
You can't go there. So
that's how we lost our lead. Michael and Marcus beat us there. And we're driving. I'm like, I swear to God, I said this. I think only Michael and Marcus will probably get here fast. Not knowing that they left their keys. Not knowing that Michael struggled in the task a bit. But we get there. We see car number 6, which is Michael and Marcus's number, their sticker. And I look at the camera, I'm like, of course it's Michael and Marcus. That
would have been great in the edit. Oh, man. All right, so you guys get to the next location. You guys are at the detour, right?
Yes.
You choose the games.
Yes.
And you chose the hardest game.
Yes.
Luis and Michelle.
There was 2 reasons we chose the game for sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first reason is we love games. We practice darts. We went to a whole bunch of like game places to practice games. So we thought we were going to be in our comfort zone. And then we were thinking, if Marcus and Michael go to the Walnuts, the only way we could get back our first place is getting them in the games.
Yeah.
Well, the games got us.
The games got us. Props to Glenda Lumumba for getting that